Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned into Your Stocks, coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. A quick look at what the market is doing, because recovery, that's the name of the game right now. Because since around 11:30-12, we've seen that recovery come in for the market, slowly, steady, picking up pace. And we've seen that up move. 24,140 levels is what the Nifty is trading at. Sensex also has seen the recovery coming in, now just down 0.3%. So yes, keeping an eye out on the markets. Where are we going to be headed in the next 1.5 hours? That's going to be important to watch out for. Other than that, we have a whole host of numbers that just came in. VST Industries has reported their numbers. You're seeing it on the bottom of your screens as well, flashes, that EBITDA is down by 28.6%. We're seeing a decline in terms of the revenue as well. So that is something to watch out for in terms of numbers. Doesn't seem to be that exciting. Escorts Kubota has come out with an announcement that they will be taking price increases from the 1st of May. So keep an eye out on Escorts Kubota as well. And just a short while ago, we had seen Mangalam and Humas also mark Chennai Petro. That stock has seen a very sharp spike up after its Q4 numbers. Seems like a great set of numbers coming in from the company. So watch out for that, as well as Quest Corp. That is also something that has seen a good spike up in the last hour of trade. So that will be interesting to watch out for in terms of the mid cap also and the small cap. Where that is going to be headed in terms of a recovery will be key to watch out for. Nifty mid cap is also seen some bit of a recovery, and small cap also seen some bit of a recovery from the day's lowest point. But yes, that's how the market setup is looking like. But this is a show where we solve all your stock-related queries. And to solve all those queries today, we have our experts joining in with us, independent market expert Shahina Mukadam, as well as Vaishali Parekh, Vice President Technical Research at Prabhudas Lilladher. Good afternoon, Shahina, as well as Vaishali, and thank you so much for joining in with us as always. Vaishali, I just want to take a quick check in terms of the market's important levels on the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty that one should be watching out for, especially at the closing. What is the level and indication that we could pick up?
Very good afternoon, Nuni. Yes, so market has turned sideways. Nifty I would say 23,800 on near term acts as a crucial support to carry on with a bullish uptrend view. And 24,500 acts as a resistance. So today's level to watch is 23,800. We did see 23,900 low today. So market is attempting to bounce. So I think for now it should be a sideways move. And Bank Nifty is showing some sign of corrective move right from the time it witnessed 56,000 as the target resistance. So for near term, I would say 54,000 would be the support. So the range would be 54,000 to 56,000. Either ways would decide the further trend of the stock.
Okay, Vaishali, thank you so much for that. Keeping an eye out on those levels over there. But let's move on and get started with the stock-related queries then. The first query for today is coming in from Karan, who's writing to us from Bhopal. He's holding 25 shares of Titan. This is at a price of 3,000 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should continue to hold this or look to sell this one. Shahina, let me take this to you first. In terms of Titan, we had the Q4 update that has already come in for the company. Not a bad update, right, in terms of growth that we are seeing for the company. So what is the outlook that you have for Titan, and should the viewer continue to hold this for the long term?
I would say, valuations are very expensive. So if you're looking at a 1 year or maybe 2 year holding, it would be better to switch from Titan to something like even a HAL, some defense stock, or a large banking stock like ICICI or HDFC. Basic reason being that, of course, we all know the quality of management is good, and they are in good segments in terms of growth segments. But at the same time, the short term, they could see some issues like in the quarter going forward or the 6 months in their export business. Gold prices also have, as you know, reached quite high levels, which could impact growth going forward, at least for the shorter term. And jewelry does account for 85% of their revenues. So to that extent, I believe combination of high valuations and a little bit of slowdown in growth over the next 1 odd year, I believe it would be better to switch. You could relook at it after some couple of quarters.
Okay, can we look at it after some couple of quarters is what you're saying. But Vaishali, on the technicals, how is it looking like, right? Shahina's highlighting the valuations are high. But on the technical front, anything different?
So I would say, well, the stock has already got into a trend. So I would say it would have some resistance at around 3,300 levels. So it is already above that. And if it sustains, then I think we can look for a trading target of 35 to 3,700, and 3,200 would act as a near-term support. So I think if the market continues to show some strength, this can go towards 35 to 3,600.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on those levels over there for Titan. Let's move on to the next query for today. We have Umesh Paul, who's writing to us from Pune. He wants to hold ONGC for the long term and is asking whether it's a good idea to do so. They've not mentioned any buy price or anything, but Shahina, your view coming in for ONGC, is it a good time to maybe enter? I don't know whether the viewer is already holding it or what price is he holding it at. So ONGC, your view.
I believe for a long-term investor, there are better stocks available both in the PSU space as well as also if you see the oil and gas. I would say even something like a Reliance, which offers you multiple sectors to be invested in. I think there it offers you better long-term return in my view. Basically, the valuations are not expensive. It's at about 8 times price to book. At the same time, if you see last quarter, they are average, I would say $72 was the average refining margins. And we have seen that crude oil prices have been lower March end. So to that extent, they may see some inventory loss. I would say that, holding it for the next couple of quarters would be, you may not get good return given the fact that US is also tightening its norms as to who ONGC can buy crude from, who it can export to. So to that extent, I would believe that it's better to switch.
Okay, better to switch from ONGC. That's the view coming in there. Vaishali, what's your view on ONGC? And if not ONGC, which one in that sector would you suggest?
I would say ONGC, for now, the upside looks to be capped at 280. Unless and until it goes above 280, can I see further run up coming towards 350 and so on? So, well, I'm not too sure, but I think Reliance would be a better bet in this sector. And I think going ahead, this can go towards higher targets of 1,500, 1,550. So, Reliance would be a better.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on Reliance instead of ONGC. So yes, not ONGC, both our experts are saying something that we could skip and looking at. But let's move on to the next query for today. We have Vijaya Kirthi, who's writing to us from Chennai. She's holding 110 shares of Spandana Sphoorty. This is bought at a price of 1,040. So wants to know the strategy now for this one and whether she should average, hold, book her losses in the investment because she's making a significant loss on this one. So Shahina, what's your view coming in on Spandana Sphoorty? Obviously, we had those recent announcements that came in as well. Any suggestion that you have for the viewer?
Well, it will be very difficult for her to recover her losses by remaining invested at least for the next 1 odd year in Spandana Sphoorty. As you know, the FY25 numbers were pretty bad. On a 600 crore total revenue they have made for the 9 months. They made losses close to about, I would say, on 2,000 crores of revenue, 600 crores of losses. And while they are trying to clean up their books by selling some of their bad loans, I would believe that, this will continue on for some more time in terms of their problems on their balance sheet. I think there are better stocks available in this type of a market. So it's better to switch. There are a lot of NBFCs which have much better quality and where valuations are also attractive. And not to say that Spandana Sphoorty is expensive at current levels, but I just don't think it's the best stock to be invested in as of now. She should, in fact, in my view, book some of her losses.
Okay, book some of the losses. That's a view coming in for Spandana Sphoorty. But Vaishali, your view coming in for Spandana Sphoorty on the technicals. Anything that seems like maybe some sort of a respite or some bounce back and she can reduce the losses that she's making and get out at such a level?
Vinny, so I was just going to suggest that because technically, if you see the stock has really taken a badgering right from 1,300 levels to 200 odd levels. So I would say now that it's held on for so long, keep a stop loss of 280. And if the trend continues, if it shows further on strength, this can go towards 400, 430. That would be the level to exit.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels over there for Spandana Sphoorty in case you're looking to exit as well. And exiting is the better bet, coming in as a opinion and a view from both our experts. Let's move on to the next query. Vipul Sheth is writing to us from Ahmedabad. He's holding 50 shares of Kfintech, and this is at a price of 1,014. Long-term investor, and wants to know whether he should book out his profits or continue to hold this one. Kfintech as a stock, Shahina, how is that looking like? Are there any better companies that they can switch to booking profits or continue to hold Kfintech?
Well, the whole segment is doing well, and you could be invested in one of even the exchanges. At the same time, I would believe that KFIN you can continue to hold. Valuations are expensive, but at the same time, they have made acquisitions to increase their global footprint. Recently, they acquired Accent in Singapore, I believe. So, to that extent, they are expanding. They are growing even currently more than 35% on top line margins, and profit margins also very good. So, to some extent, if you're holding it for a 1 to 3 year period, you're likely to see a decent return. It's in a good segment, growing segment related to the capital markets. So, I would say continue to hold.
Okay. Continue to hold is the view coming in from Shahina on Kfin. On the technicals, Vaishali, what is Kfintech looking like? Because YTD performance, specifically when I'm looking, since Jan we saw that fall coming in, then we started seeing some bit of a recovery. So this recovery that we're seeing coming in since March, is that something that will sustain, and could they have some higher bit of a profit?
So, well, I don't have much of a data in this, but from what I can see from the near-term chartical move, I think it's getting in a trend. There are signs of improvement, and in all likelihood, if 1,000 level is held on as a support, and near-term basis, if it's for a trading perspective, 1,100 should be the level to watch as support. And once we see the stock moving about 1,300 odd, this can go towards 1,700 also. So I would take this as a trading bet for now.
Okay, trading bet for now. Okay, Vaishali, thank you so much for that view coming in there. But on that note, we're going to step into a very short break, viewers. And as we step into the break, here's some good news coming in for our viewers. India's business news leader is now a click away, introducing CNBC TV18's all-new app. Get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles, and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV18 app now from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or you can just scan the QR code on your screen. But okay, let's keep it going then with other stocks that are buzzing in trade. You all have sent us your queries related to, and we still have Shahina as well as Vaishali with us for that. For the next query for today, we have this coming in on Birlasoft. We have Krishna, who is writing to us from Hyderabad. He's holding 32 shares of Birlasoft. Price is 600 rupees per share. He's a long-term investor. What should he do with this? Shahina, continue to hold, look to sell this one.
I would say continue to hold. The stock has already seen such a sharp decline based on the very disappointing third quarter numbers, where we saw a huge dip in profits on a slightly lower turnover. Having said that, and they had mentioned that they are seeing a lot of furloughs in the third quarter. They saw a lot of that in the BFSI segment, healthcare segment, and that is likely to continue also to some extent in the fourth quarter. So I don't expect any great numbers in the fourth quarter also. Having said that, I think given the fact that they are getting good new, their deal pipeline is quite good. It was quite good in third quarter, expected to be good now also in this current quarter and going forward. So I would say continue to hold, and valuations are also have started becoming more attractive. It's about 15 times 1 year forward on a PE basis.
Okay. And Vaishali, on the technicals, Birlasoft, how is that looking like?
So I would say on the whole IT pack, we have seen good correction coming in, and particularly if we talk about Birlasoft, I think the worst is nearly over. So I would say one can add more at these levels so that the cost also comes down, and when the going gets good, I think there will be very good returns. I think I'm looking at a bounce back coming towards 500, 550 to start with. So I guess one should average out at these levels.
Okay. That is the view coming in on Birlasoft from both our experts. But Vaishali as well as Shahina, that was the last query for today. So thank you so much for tuning in with us and helping our viewers always solve their stock-related queries. And viewers, thank you so much for always sending us your queries. Remember, you can always email us your queries and on the email address that is on the screens as well. And we will get them solved with our experts. But with that, we'll wind up this edition. So thank you so much for tuning in. And up next, we have Closing Bell to take you through the last hour of trade.